Listen, I know you're an artist and you want to be creative and all, but save the creativity for your work and not the business back end. Hello, sunshine, and welcome back to the Gold Biz Podcast with me, your host, Rachel Traxler. Okay, so I'm not saying don't fully be creative within your business because, yes, I love to get creative on the back end too and figuring out fun ways to try new things. But I am saying that most of the time, clear over clever does take the cake, and confusion is absolutely killing your conversion. But exactly what do I mean by that, and how can you fix it? That's exactly what we're going to cover in today's episode. So pull up your notes app. But before we dive in, I would love if you would screenshot and share to your Instagram and tag me at Rachel Traxler so that I can see which episode you're loving the most, and then also share the love in return because I always love to see what you love the most about the Gold Biz podcast. Okay, so diving in, confusion is killing your conversion. And let's talk about a few things that you might be doing that might be leading to this. Number one is too many offers. You have too many options going and just are creating unnecessary complexity within your offers that can just lead to decision fatigue. So, whether that means that you offer too many types of things, whether that means you offer one thing, but you have too many or you offer one thing, but you have too many package options, that could also be decision fatigue as well. So when potential clients feel overwhelmed, they're more likely to just kind of like step back, ghost you, ghost the whole process, rather than like actually making a choice. So I challenge you guys to look at what you have for your services and what you have for your offers. Are you offering too many things? Are you offering weddings, maternity, couples, branding, seniors, newborns? Like, are you offering too many things that would not be specific to what your ideal potential target client wants? Or are you only offering one or two things? So maybe you're offering family sessions and or are you maybe offering a couple things where you're offering weddings and couples, but your packages within those, you're offering too many things? Maybe you add video on there and you have photo and video, and that's too many packages. Or maybe you have too many package options going with different offers. This one has a second shooter. This one has X amount of coverage. This one has film. This one has video. There's too many things going on. So I really challenge you to look at what you have for your offers, what you have for your services, and condense it down as much as possible. And then number two, which is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning and kind of the overall vibe and topic of this episode, is that clear over clever, but this is specific to your copy. So if your value proposition or your call to action or anything like that isn't clear, potential clients are going to just not understand what you're offering. Or I'm going to say that one again. And number two, which is kind of the trend and theme for this episode, is that clever over clear. But I want you to think about in your copy, in your wording specifically. If your value proposition or even your call to action that you're using within your guides, on your website, all of those things, if they're not clear, your potential clients aren't going to understand what you're offering or what the next steps they should even take are. If you are getting too clever with what those call to actions are, or you're just wanting maybe your website to look different or your marketing guide to look different and stand out, absolutely, that's amazing. But I think there's other ways besides what I see people doing with their copy and in their call to action, wording, and all of that stuff. This uncertainty that would create from having clever over clear, the uncertainty in that causes hesitation and also just reduces the likelihood of conversion. It's going to cause more confusion. They're not going to know what next step that they should take. They're not going to know exactly what that means. So ultimately, at the end of the day, clever over clear in your copy. And this also ties really nicely into the next one of just your overall aligned messaging. So you do not want to have conflicting information within your messaging, your website, your marketing guides, all of those things. And this also comes from inconsistent branding, mixed messages, or just lack of cohesive branding in general can, again, confuse potential clients about who you are, what you offer, what your business stands for, and also just reducing the overall confidence that they need to convert. You are breaking that trust. You're not building that trust with those potential clients. They're confused. They don't know what next step to take. Maybe you're saying one thing on your social media, but your website or your marketing guides or your client testimonials, those aren't aligning. Maybe it's as simple as like the color psychology isn't aligning with who and what you say you are. So think about the overall messaging, making sure that it is absolutely aligned with who you are. And that starts with creating those branding foundations for yourself, making sure that everything aligns and makes sense. Because if that creates an ounce of confusion or hesitation in clients, that is killing your conversion. It's breaking trust and leading to confusion, which is the overall theme of this episode as well. And number 4 is lack of trust. All three of these things I just talked about is going to create and build up and subconsciously break trust without you even knowing it. You might think maybe you just simply haven't built trust with them yet. It's the fact that they are confused in your marketing and your messaging. And if they are confused, that will make them not want to even reach out to you or even inquire with you before even reaching a level of conversion. They're not even reaching out to you at all. Confusion can also arise if important, like trust building elements aren't quite there. Think testimonials, maybe featured badges, clear contact information, social proof, all of these things, again, aligned messaging. If any of these things are missing or unclear, causing potential clients to question your overall credibility, that's also going to break trust with them, making them not even want to reach out. Or if they do reach out, that's just increasing the probability that trust will be broken in other places as well. So, something to think about is building and creating that trust with your current clients so that also can reflect in future clients as well. I'm interrupting my own episode to give you a quick glimpse into my signature coaching program created for established photographers wanting to double to quadruple their prices, book their highest package, and bring in inquiries consistently. This is my high-level container of go-to photographers who are making huge waves in the industry. And the biggest difference in this program is that we get a full 12 months together for deep dive transformation, weekly coaching call support, 4 coaches in the program to deep dive into specific topics, and a content retreat all included in one program. And I always say, if you can book one extra wedding from your year in the program together, you're going to see your ROI. And it's just the weekly norm wins for my students. So I'm fully confident that you're going to be able to do that and way, way more. And this is an application, phone call, and acceptance process only type of program. So if you are curious if this is the right next steps for you to just blow up your business this year, you can fill out the application at racheltraxler.com/apply or get the link in the show notes. I'll be in touch shortly after you fill it out so that we can talk through together if this is the right fit for you. I'm very honest with people and I want this to be a great fit for everyone involved. That's just my heart behind the way I do this process. And I also think that's why my students just see so much success in this program. So don't just be an information consumption overload this year. I want you to be an action taker and start implementing change into your business. So again, if this feels aligned to you, fill out the application at racheltraxler.com/apply to apply for my Passion to Profit coaching program. Okay, so we talked about some things that might be causing some confusion in your marketing and conversion and all those things. But now let's talk about how to improve them so that you can focus on some of these key next steps to be able to build that trust, have aligned messaging, clear copy, and build that trust back up. So, number 1, you're probably not surprised, creating clear and concise messaging. So, making sure that you're really communicating your value proposition, your call to actions are simple, and making sure they're direct so that people viewing your website can immediately understand like what you're offering overall and exactly what to do next. You want to make sure that everyone always knows exactly what to do next. And that kind of ties into the next one of streamlining your choices. So this kind of goes back also to limiting having too many offers. Limit the number of options to prevent decision fatigue. Again, too many choices can overwhelm potential clients. So guide them towards what makes most sense for them so that they can take important actions. You want to make sure that people seeing your social media or your website or your marketing or pricing guide or anything like that, that there's low hanging fruit. They can see that you are exactly what they're wanting and looking for. It's so clear on what next steps to take, and it's easy for them to make that decision. So you, as the service provider, you need to streamline their choices almost for them, for the people that you know are aligned. It's almost like you need to know your ideal client so well that you are basically just making the choice and decision for them, and making it really easy on them is then on the client experience end of it, if just making it easy. So if you can think about it like that, that makes it a lot easier. I'm interrupting my own episode to let you know that if you have not started your free trial with Aftershoot, that this is your sign that you need to follow the link in today's show notes so that you can try Aftershoot, which is the AI culling and editing program that I like to use in my business that's helped us cut down so much on editing time. And it's the only program that is a simple flat pricing and you're not paying per image. It also has unlimited storage, so you don't have to worry about overshooting, which, let's be real, totally happens as a photographer. And it also can work offline. And my favorite thing is that you can build and have smart profiles, which are kind of like presets, but a smarter version of it. So it really gets to know the style that you want, and you can basically train the AI to be the style that you're wanting. So I think this is the leading AI in editing and culling. And if you haven't already, just give it a shot for yourself. Give it a try and use the link in today's show notes to do your free trial. And then the next thing you can do is simplified navigation, like exactly what we were talking about. Make it easy for people on your website to know what they're looking for. Organize your site and your pages logically so that you're not bouncing around. Okay, if someone's coming to your site, what's the first thing they want to do? They might want to view your portfolio. They might want to know what the experience is like, and then they want to know how to book with you. They're not necessarily going to your website saying, okay, I'm just going to go to her about page. Then I'm going to go to her contact. Then I'm going to go back to her blog. And then I'm going to go back to the experience. They're not bouncing around in that way. So think of the way that potential clients are actually experiencing the content that you have, experiencing your website. What order are they experiencing it in? A tool that you can use for this is called Hotjar, and it records the way people like experience your website and which pages they're clicking and which pages they're staying on the most, which pages are being researched the most. There's Hotjar, or you could just look at your Google Analytics as well. So those are two tools that you can use to do that. But I think the more simplified your navigation, the better. And that also comes down to naming your pages too. I know some people they have testimonial pages and they name it love notes, or they have blog posts and they name it love stories, or a journal, or something like that. And that kind of comes down to, again, the clever over clear might not be as clear, which leads to confusion, which confusion kills your conversion. So, something to just think about there. I think there's so many other ways you can get creative within your business and website and portfolio and your copy. There's so many other ways you can get creative besides your messaging. Or like this the specific verbiage and the words that you use. I guess messaging you want to be creative, but specific verbiage with your navigation, I guess is what I'm saying. There's other ways to be creative and artsy with that. But so I just would say stick to clear over clever for your simplified navigation. And then the next one is something you can do is consistent branding. So just ensure, again, all of this is tying together and making sense. Ensure all of your messaging, your visuals, your design elements all of these are cohesive across all of your platforms just to reinforce that trust and keeping your potential clients engaged without causing mixed signals. And a bonus point to this, yes, I'm saying online, but also make sure that it connects with who you are in person too. Because again, because the last thing you want to do is create this whole brand that you think that you like and you think you're drawn to, and then your potential clients and your clients meet you in person and they're so confused because they're like, whoa, this is not who I thought she was online. um this is different, and that breaks trust immediately and it makes people question. And so I think the biggest compliment I can get, or anyone you can get as a creative entrepreneur, is someone saying, I already feel like we're best friends, I already know you, or meeting you in person being like, you are exactly how you are in person, how you are online. That's when you know that you have really, like, the magic has aligned, the stars have aligned, and you have like done it right, and you are communicating clearly. So I think strive for that type of compliment, basically, when you think about consistent branding overall. And also, something you can do too is create trust building elements and infuse those all throughout your marketing and everything. So include testimonials, reviews, maybe featured badges or guarantees, maybe to build that credibility and just reassure potential clients that they can trust you and they can trust your brand. Some people really need that social proof. And I know, like, providing social proof, I don't know how you feel, but for me, sometimes it feels a little like I don't want to be braggy and I don't want to do all of I don't want to showcase this. But when I can shift my mindset of like, it's not braggy because it's not about me. It's about how my clients or my students, for that matter, feel, what they have been able to do, how they feel in my experience. And it's just showcasing that. That's kind of what building that social proof is. So when you can switch your mindset around that of just showcasing what they have done and how they feel, and you're just like kind of like the medium that got them to that point. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of helps me when I think about it that way. Another thing you can do is just create a user friendly design. And I know that kind of seems simple, but just think about creating a clean, organized layout that really prioritizes the potential clients and the user's experience. It's kind of like what I talked about before, thinking about how they're consuming it. And something that I like to think about is using white space or taking away white space in, like, in terms of your website, making sure you have really clear headings that goes for your website, that goes for any of your marketing materials, making sure that you have really easy to read fonts to guide people through that page effortlessly. The amount of times that I see fonts being used that I'm like, I don't even know what that says, or they're just so inconsistent. You need to pick a header, a subheading, and a paragraph font and stick to it. Do not get, and also capitalization and non-capitalization, like small case, uppercase, that needs to stay consistent as well, just on a design aspect, because that also can subconsciously create and like confusion and break trust just down to a font, just down to, okay, she was using this font and capitalization on this page, and now she's using it lowercase for a paragraph or a subheading on this page. And there's just all of a sudden this inconsistency that's happening that subconsciously, as a consumer, we're like, wait, there's inconsistency. I don't trust that. That breaks trust with maybe the consumer doesn't even realize it, that that's what's causing them those feelings. So it's little things like that you need to really be aware of, really think about, go through an audit. This is why I love doing audits for all my students, because there's so many things that they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And having a fresh set of eyes to be like, change this design's a little bit off, this messaging. I know that you say you want documentary style, but then all of a sudden you're using the phrase picture perfect somewhere in your copy, even if you're saying you don't want picture perfect. Like, it's throwing words in like that. So be cautious of all of these things, because it does add up for clients and potential clients to subconsciously make decisions in booking with you or not, which again, if you break any trust, if you are having any confusion at all, it is absolutely killing your conversion. So I encourage you to go through, do a little audit if you're doing it yourself, and just see where you can make these changes. But to wrap all of this up, I want you to focus on creating a seamless and just intuitive user experience just by providing clear, concise messaging that really highlights your value. And it minimizes choices for your potential clients to avoid overwhelming them, leading them to not making decisions at all, leading to decision over fatigue and overwhelm and all those things. Using straightforward navigation, stuff like that. Ensure also consistency in your branding elements. Be transparent with it. Make sure it's designer user friendly, that it's laid out, and that you're also like guiding people to take action and to make decisions without confusion. Like, be set it up almost like in a funnel sense that you are just leading them down to make a decision. Like, basically, you're making that they know they like you. You're just making the decision for them to actually book with you easy. Like, you're just making that decision, and here's how you do it, and here's how you easily do it. So just eliminate friction, distraction, make it easy for them to understand, know the next steps, all of those things. This is just going to create a smooth, overall seamless client journey that naturally will lead to higher conversions. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope you're leaving with something or feeling inspired to at least do an audit, some action steps for you to take. You know, I love those. So if you loved this episode as much as I did, I would love if you left a review on the Gold Biz podcast and what you think so that I can see which episodes you're loving the most, and then also share the love in return too, because I always love to see what you think, to see how you feel. And I'm here for you. I love creating episodes for you on what you need to kind of meet you where you're at. So if you have any topic ideas you want me to do, send me a DM. My DMs are always open. Like, I love opening my DMs to you, saying that you love the Gold Biz podcast, that you're sharing it. It's my favorite thing ever. So if you were like, Rach, you need to do a topic, an episode on this, done. Consider it done. Like, bring it to me. I love it. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I appreciate you so, so much. And as always, keep shining, and we'll see you next time.